In this video, I'm gonna show you how to build a simple and super useful triple power supply that can save time and money in your lab. It combines a dual supply and a single supply with fixed selectable voltages and current limits. No waste of time adjusting voltages, no need of pairing variable supplies. Perfect for powering both analog and digital electronics. I'll describe how it works later on, but for now, let's jump into building it. The printed circuit board I designed hosts almost all the required components, so soldering them onto the PCB is the main task. First off, let's mount the components with the lower profile, things like resistors, diodes, and integrated circuits. To keep the components in place, when flipping the board for soldering, slightly bend their legs. Just be careful not to bend them too much, since that would make it harder to remove them later if needed. If you don't have a mounting bench that lets you flip the board without components falling out, work in small groups. It's easier that way and makes soldering each point more manageable. Use a good quality solder wire with flux core. It gives cleaner results and helps you work faster. When soldering, let the iron tip hit the pad and the component's leg for a second before applying the solder. A good joint will flow smoothly and wet both the pad and the terminal. Once the low-profile components are in place, move on to the small transistors and taller components, like capacitors. As with diodes, be sure to check the orientation of polarized capacitors. Here's one of the two bridge rectifiers. They've got a cylindrical heat sink glued on top to help prevent overheating. And of course, these need to be installed with the correct orientation. At this point, most of the components are mounted. Now it's time to install the calibration resistors. To save PCB space, I used just one resistor, even though the required value normally calls for 2 in series. The last components to mount on the other side of the board are the LM317 and the LM377, or the LM350 if you've chosen the higher current version. At first, I thought mounting these at 90-degree angle, so they'd lie flat against the heatsink, head in place with a small bracket. But eventually I decided to use a heat conductor instead. That way the board can stay inside the enclosure while the heatsink stays outside. To prevent short circuits, a piece of PVC is placed underneath the heat conductor. For the conductor itself, I used a machined piece of aluminum. This metal is good heat conductor, and I polished its surfaces to reduce contact resistance. But a simple 20 by 15 mm aluminum bar would work just as well. It's secured with fasteners and plastic washers. This aluminum piece helps transfer heat from the regulators to the external heatsink. Here's how it looks once it's mounted. Next, the power regulators are fixed onto the aluminum block. First, I applied some silicone grease between the regulators and the aluminum, and then a piece of silicone paper is placed in between. Though if you don't have any on hand, I found that cooking paper actually works quite well as an alternative. Finally, a couple of brackets are used to hold the regulators firmly in place against the aluminum block. The heatsink is tested to make sure everything's worked properly before the final installation into the enclosure. And the very last step is to solder the wires that will connect to the front panel, potentiometers, LEDs, switches, and banana sockets. Since this power supply requires a transformer with 3 separated coils, one simple method to achieve this is by adding a coil to a commercially available toroidal transformer. I've made a video that shows how to do this job. A fixed selectable voltage power supply uses a switch to set the output voltage at the fixed predetermined values for one or more outputs. It can be made into 2 versions, 1.5 amps and 3 amps, with slight changes. The design is centered around the LM317, which handles most of the job and includes short circuit and overheating protection. And 3 similar sections create a complete triple power supply. So let's have a look at how it works. Here we have the complete circuit, and here we have basically the same three sections that are similar among them. Here we have where the power comes from the transformer, the AC voltage from the transformer here, and here we have the 2 bridge rectifiers that here provides the voltage for the 5 volt section, 3 and 5 volt section, and here for the dual plus minus 12 or 15 volt or other voltages if you want to change a little bit the circuit. But because this section, and this section are basically similar among them, let's have a look at one of them. Zoom it a little bit more so it is easier to follow. It is around this component that is the LM317 that does all the job to adjust the output voltage, and it is adjusted through this point, this adjustment terminal that goes to this voltage drop that is made by 2 precision resistors. This is normally the symbol for a trimmer, but actually means here they are calibrated resistors and they are compounded with a couple of precision resistors. This point is adjusted by these 2 resistors, but when this transistor turns on, this resistor is put in parallel with this one, so this point becomes a little bit lower, and so it changes this output voltage that becomes 12 volt. This part can be changed a little bit, and for example, and these are the 2 resistors that determine the output voltage, and here we have the first transistor with a resistor, but we can have multiple transistors with multiple resistors to set a range of fixed voltages. And this part of the circuit is designed to control to limit the current at the output. Here there is a big caveat, because the current limit at the output is just a limit. It doesn't cut off completely the current and the output voltage, because it is limited by the voltage drop of these 2 diodes. So actually the output voltage never goes below about 3 volts, because here we have 1.5 volt, here we have 1.4 volt, so yeah. And how it works: here we have 3 resistors that are in parallel, and so the equivalent resistance is 0.33 ohm. 0.5 volt drops across these resistors. We have 1.5 amps. So adjusting with an external potentiometer here, we can change this point, this voltage point. So when this voltage goes below this point here, the output of the operation amplifier switches from positive to ground. So this diode goes in conduction as well, this one, so this point is turned down by these 2 diodes, and this provides limits to the output current, and it is proportional to the voltage that drops across these resistors. This two diodes could be a problem if we have 5 or 3.3 volt, because this also create a voltage drop. So in that case here, when in that case here, where there is the 5 or 3.3 volt output, these two diodes are replaced with short-cut diodes that have lower voltage drop. And this is the 3 amp version, and as you can see here, the circuit is pretty similar, and they have changed this regulator with LM350, and here I improved the limiter by changing this the diodes with this transistor, and of course swapped these two pins, and the 3 sections for the positive 3 and 5 volt, the positive 12 and 15 volt, and negative for negative 12 and 15 volt. The circuit is exactly the same. Of course, some values changes. Here we have 1, 2 and 3 coils from the transformer that provides 3 isolated source of power. Plus and minus, the positive and negative, are linked here with this wire that provides a common ground. The LM350, the transistor that replaces the two diodes, that improves the current limit, and here of course these two pins are swapped. This is connected to the non-inverting, and this is connected to the inverting pin of the operation amplifier. And of course here the transistor has been changed from the PNP to an NPN here, that goes in conduction when this goes positive, and provides the indication light from the LED when the limiter intervene. It's a pretty simple circuit, easy to make and cheap. I hope you find interesting this video. If so, hit the thumb up icon and maybe subscribe to the channel so you will miss next videos. Don't forget to hit the bell icon too. And for now, that's all folks. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.